Yeah, it's frustrating. Disappointing as well, you know, because it's a game we feel we had the quality to win. And just a bit of deja vu, like I was saying to students and the manager before. It's just we're conceding goals at vital times in games, and it seems like it's taken us a while to get out of that glut. And then when we do, it's kind of a bit too late. And then if you see the highlights, balls fizzing across the box, no one tapping it in, goal line ditch clearances from them and stuff, and you know, it's like we're getting really punished for the mistakes we're making in games, and I think we just got to get back to that sort of base. I mean, it will take a while in terms of us trying to find a new kind of core, because obviously we've lost a few players, big players, like I said, you know, Jordan, obviously Noah, which obviously we'll discuss a bit later, Lewis, you know, that core sort of, you know, we need to try and find it, and then build around it, and then we can build up some sort of consistency, because like I said, at the start of the season, this is pretty much the same sort of squad, but we had pretty much picking the same 7-8 players every game. A few players will come in there, and then everyone kind of knew this is the system, this is what we're going with, so everyone was kind of ready. So at the moment we're kind of juggling with a few things. So again, like we would have liked to have gone with the same back four like last week, but Taff unfortunately was away, so we had to rejig it again, and that's always been the case in the last few weeks, and I think we're struggling a little bit with that. So overall in the game, I mean, there's a lot of things to be positive about in terms of our chances that we created, and you know, we could have, you know, at 2-0 if Jake or Josh puts that away, you know, it becomes a comfortable game. So back to the drawing board a little bit, but like I said, it's not the end. It's not the end. We just need to find our sort of consistency before we can even start looking at the table, I think.
You know, the game plan we had was working well. You know, we're playing at these teams. I don't know how many times we played Hackney, 5 times or whatever. So Pete always puts out a strong team. We know what they like, and well, the first 5 minutes was a dream, wasn't it? We scored early, and then we had Jake get injured, and it stopped the game. Josh, you don't mind me saying, missed that sitter, and then they get back into it. But second half, we had a good chat with the lads. We were just telling them, weren't we? Yeah. Play to the level we know you can play at, and we'll be all right. But for whatever reason, we didn't play at that level, and we got punished today, and it's very frustrating because we're all winners here, and we all want to win. And so the Geoff and I have spent an hour or so after the game already just trying to look ready for next week. So, but we always go again, and we'll push on and go from there. But yeah, it didn't quite work out how we planned, for sure.
Yeah, a bit of like I said, I think when we play these teams, if you kind of obviously going previously before, it's like we'll get into a strong position, maybe start very quickly, we'll hit them with 1 goal, maybe a second goal, and then it'll just be about a case of managing the game out. But what's happening is maybe we're going ahead, and then at a vital moment we're switching off, and I think that's the problem. I think we need to get round of, and maybe start thinking of maybe setting up a bit more defensively, getting a bit more confidence in our play, and then we can push on, because it's, as I said, it's still the same core players, we still believe in them, but I think we just maybe need a couple more, you know, to fill in obviously what we're losing at the moment, and just a bit more experience when things are not going right. The ones who kind of dig in, like your Elliots, your Jimmys, you know, these guys are very big misses in the dressing room, because you know, when things are not going right, you just get your banks are full, you kind of compete, win your first and second balls, go through that sort of period where team general will have a period of the game where they sort of dominate, and then we'll kind of go on strong for the last 15. But at the moment, we're getting to that sort of stage, and then it's kind of, we're conceding. I mean, the second goal it's a long ball. We discussed it before the game. It's a long ball. We've missed it. We've not dealt with it. The guys got in, squared it. It's a tap in. You know, that's 1 ball, and that's, again, it's a schoolboy. You don't expect to see that at this sort of level. And the third goal, it's a free header, so someone's not tracked. So these things, we can discuss it as much as we want before the game, but if the players are not up to it and don't really follow the instructions, it's very difficult. So we've just got to go back to the basics in the sense of getting a team where we just know of players we trust that will do what we're asking, and then further along the way we can kind of build on that, and then maybe we can get some sort of consistency. So that's what we want. I mean, we're not really worried about the table per se, it's all about us. If we can sort of get back to anything there at the start of the season, what we were doing, I think we can push on in, because the top 8, anyone can go on a 3-4 game losing run, or they can put it together. So we want to be in that sort of bracket before it gets too late.
Sherwin and Stanley has hit a milestone today, so 50 goals.
Yeah, no, I say Sherwin is, he's been part of this team from the beginning, and he feels days like today as much as we do, and you know, we will definitely draw on the experience of people like Sherwin and senior players to go for it. But no, fantastic achievement for him. Great servant to the club. You know, he could easily have gone off elsewhere, higher level, and probably earned some petrol money.
Yeah.
Oh, still could, yeah. But he chose to be here, and yeah, he's a great figure in the dressing room. And yeah, another goal, 1 goal, 2 goals today.
Got
2 goals today. So
with the second
yeah,
one.
that's what we need. And he's such a Clapton man as well. It's
You
great.
said that, yeah. I mean, when obviously during the COVID break, he was there, you know, helping out at the Spotted Dog. So he's another one, you know, a leader on and off the dressing room. Someone who, you know, when we talk about the core foundations of the club, he's one of them. So we can't credit him enough. And yeah, he hurts. You know, in games like this, he hurts. And it's, you know, we often talk about, you know, how kind of, you know, courageous the fans are. They'll always clap us off, and you know, for what we pull out. But we want to win for them as well. You know, for them coming out in the cold. For someone obviously like Sherwin, he'll always be there for the club, and you know, he's a member. So whether he stays here, plays or not, retires, he's always going to be part of the team. So you know, credit to him, and he's got a great servant to the club.
And then you mentioned before, Noah and Lewis have managed to find themselves some dual registration moves.
Yes, they. Well, we're still. I think Noah has signed, and I think Lewis has signed. So they're dual signed. So obviously their focus will be obviously there. You know, they're 2 good players that we've kind of been working with for a while. And it's testament to the management team in terms of obviously when we've got young players coming through, you know, we kind of try and nurture them, make them better. And we will never sort of step in their way in terms of obviously progressing. So it's a big loss for us, because I do feel in a game like this, you know, Noah and Lewis, last time, remember Lewis came on, you know, he was the difference, and Noah in this sort of space, and sometimes that little bit of quality, that extra bit of quality which he can pull out, you know, Noah can, you know, he can do that. So they're big losses to us, which we'll have to fill in, you know, between ourselves. But you know, we'd always push them on, we wish them well, and you know, as I said, you just never know in future. Hopefully we can use their services again.
The others will tell you, I always try and be positive in everything that we do. As much as today hurts, we'll look at the positives from it and push forward. Yeah, I mean, 3 cups and we're in, 2 quarterfinals, and I think a semi or another quarterfinal. We were second in the league before today. We're there or thereabouts. So we'll always want to win every game. But
it's never doom and gloom. You know, we're still halfway through the
Exactly.
season. So, like I said, if we can just get to the basics and the foundations, and then start getting some confidence in the team, because I feel there's a little bit of devalve of confidence in a little bit, you know, with certain players, you know, so we just need to get back to that, and that's all winning does, you know. So we'd hope, obviously, with the win of last week, you know, we can build on that. But you know, it's another relapse. But we'll get him into training, you know, that's confidence, dust it off, and then that's the only way we can do it, you know. Like Stu says, we'll go again, I think.
But want to get to a cup final. That was one of my greatest moments at Uxbridge when we won the cup on penalty. So for the fans, it'd be great, but obviously we want to move up the league as well. But positive stuff, we'll move forward, and we'll go again next week for sure.
And thanks to everyone who came out today again. It was a pleasure. And we had a Ocrsn, didn't we? Is it Precious?
Oh yeah, Precious the dog.
Bless him.
Non-league dog, so Adrian's.
Yeah, so it's a shame we couldn't dedicate the win to him. We will hopefully the next week we can dedicate the win to him. But as another loss, and like I said, we're a family. He's been to some of our biggest games, hasn't he? Precious. So
one of our biggest critics when we were playing as well.
So rest in peace, isn't it? Non-league, famous non-league dog. So credit to him, and you know, our thoughts are with Major at the moment.
Clapton family. Yeah.